I certainly can.
Okay. Hi all. Welcome to iMoot 2014. Can you guys hear me? Okay, that's good. This is Priya Ramakrishnan on behalf of I'm representing the iMoot team. So today I'll be introducing Merrin, and she is presenting accessibility first steps topic. So please take the lead, Merrin.
Hi everybody and welcome. And first of all, because today is Global Accessibility Awareness Day, I'm going to say happy Global Awareness Accessibility Day. Right, kicking off, just wanted to find out where you're all from first of all, because as it is a global day, that's why we're having this session on this day. If you can just type into your chat windows which country or city you're in at the moment, that would be great. Antarctica from Michelle. Catherine, Brizzy, Hamilton. Good to have the Kiwis here. Well done, Nick. Canberra, where all good things or strange things happen. And Garrett's in the UK. Now, Gareth tells me it's about 7 a.m. there, so thanks very much. You'll actually find that most of your places, your cities, will be having events on today for the Global Accessibility Day. And there's one here. Geek Girls in Melbourne, just like everywhere else, will have a big party on tonight. Shane's just saying Perth will catch up in a couple of years. We'll get there, Shane, okay? Now, they say never to start a presentation or a workshop or anything with a table or a chart. So I'm going to have to do it with a disclaimer. Yes, I work for the Australian government. However, I was told that we need to specify that this is coming from me. It's private comments and the government is not making a statement here. Okay, so this is for people who have made first steps and might want some tips and tricks as to how they can make their sites more accessible. Okay, our learning outcomes for today. So we're going to just look at why we need to rethink our planning. We need to adopt an approach within ourselves to be more mindful and identifying links. I'll let you read through the rest of those. And we've got 2 competitions today, so we'll see how you are on a couple of things. Okay, a lot of people have seen this. This is a Creative Commons image representing accessibility. Can you use your chat windows and just type in there what you think those accessibility icons stand for, or whether you think some other things should be included? No ideas, anybody? Top left for sight impaired people, says Nick. Left. Hearing impaired, right. Sight impaired, mobility impaired, well done. Thanks, Nick. That makes me feel a bit happier. Then we've got people who are hearing impaired, people who maybe cannot read, the elderly. Families may have a disabled child. We may find someone who needs glasses or other adaptive tools to be able to carry out their daily stuff. And then we've got people who are using canes who might be blind, but might be cane, they might have a hip replacement, etc. Brilliant, Teresa. Is there anything else that you think that should be an accessibility that maybe isn't at the moment? There's some talk, to give you an example, as to whether people who do not have fast access to the internet should be able to be classed for their learning as having a disability. Have any of you come against that? Yes, it is a first world problem, says Teresa. But it's not only in the first world, is it? There's kids with laptops in Africa who don't have a decent bandwidth, who maybe need help get onto their Moodle courses. Yes, Michelle. Okay, Michelle, do you just want to talk about that for 2 minutes? She's saying that Antarctic bandwidth is terrible. Michelle?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. All of our connections down in Antarctica are on satellite and they're very expensive, so our bandwidths are severely limited. So although we have people that spend a year down there and would like to be doing some of the courses and accessing things, they're on like really archaic systems. Like I think 512 is deemed amazing down there, and most of them are on a lot less. So that tends to add a few challenges.
Excellent. What I'm going to do now, Teresa's also said that some of New Zealand is also horrid. And I'm sure, even I work for the Bureau of Meteorology, and we have people out on islands with satellite phones. We have people in the middle of Australia trying to do their work. So kind of difficult at times. What I'm going to do in the chat bar, I'm going to copy and paste a link. Now, this is only a 2-minute video, but I've been asked not to do it through Big Blue Button. Can everybody please copy and paste that link, open up a tab, and just watch that for 2 minutes? I'll give you 3 minutes to do it. How's about that? If I do it from here, apparently you won't be able to hear. I'm going to turn off my camera just while you're on that now. Okay, you should have all been able to view that. I'll just give it another 30 seconds to... Can you just type in when you're finished watching, please? Just so I know. Okay, Priya done. And that just highlights basically the frustration that people have. Absolute frustration with just trying to get normal stuff done. Okay, let's move on because we want to get into some stuff for you. Oh, Teresa's learning New Zealand Sign Language and tried watching TV without captions. Give it a go. Oh, it'd be so hard. Imagine doing this webinar without sound. Imagine only just having it as a podcast because it hasn't been designed to be a podcast. So this is why we have the new accessibility framework coming in. We've got 3 different levels, A, AA, and AAA. Now, if we think about them, as far as what do they mean, if you want it in a really snappy snapshot, an example of each, A would be having keyboard access to a menu. Double A would be using your mouse scroll and the control key to be able to change the size of your screen. So that's using a workaround, using a skill. And triple A, for example, the sign language on videos and captions.
Oh,
Teresa just put through that she was on mute and wanted to be unmuted. No, she's put herself back on mute. Okay, warning. Now this is very important. Although we've got some people here from overseas today, be kind of careful because in the Australian government and out for normal corporations as well now, you can be sued. Okay, read that top warning and take note of it, because there is always someone who feels that if your site isn't compliant, that they have a case. Okay, onto tools and tips and tools now. Let's get onto one, and this is one I would really like to have you guys to download, one of the core tools. I'm going to put in a web address into your chat bar. Now, download this now, download it later, it doesn't really matter. The fact is it will ask you for an email address. I have never, ever had spam from them, so you don't have to worry about that. What I'm going to try and do is share my desktop. Now, can you guys all see my desktop now? Gareth's saying no. Hello, Michael. Welcome aboard. Okay, the little squirrels are working inside the computer at the moment. It's going round and round and round. It's saying that the sharing is starting. Okay, what about now? Can you see my desktop now? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how the color contrast analyzer works. So for example, you just use the top tool and you say my foreground color is this blue, my background color, so I'm going to put some text on something, is this yellow. It will tell you what the contrast is. Now that's what you've got to have. You've got to have a clear contrast between your text and your background. So for this, if it was in large text, it would pass at a triple A, but it would fail. Sorry, it would pass at a double A, but it would fail at a triple A. What I'd really like you to do is to download this now if you can. If not, that's okay, but to trial this on your site. Here's our site. I'm just trying to get the color contrast analyzer on the same screen for you. So for example, if I needed to check that I have white text going against this color background, it passes, whether it is small text or large text. Could everybody see how that worked? Can you just give me a yes or a no, please? Because this is a really great tool. Okay, excellent. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you. It's a company in the US called Visibone. They put out quite a range of accessibility style products. So if I go now, I'm going to stop the sharing. and bring on my webcam again, you'll see in the background some of their posters. Now, you don't have to take any notes from today. All the tools I'm going to show you are all listed on course number 21 on the iMoot. But you can see nice big glossy posters, and beside that at the back of my whiteboard, I also keep a copy of the Colour Contrast Analyzer and which colours I can safely use. Thank you, Gareth. So that's 2 tools you've got so far. Now, just been released from Google again, they're really good on accessibility, is their new way of making Google Maps usable via the keyboard. So that link is also there for you on the website, because it's very hard with all the different colors there. Try to get navigation going for people who can't see. Okay, this is my One Geek slide. Pretty much HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, we're kind of compliant there, not a problem. Mahara, have a chat. There was a session this morning from Kathleen on Mahara. Now, she really seemed to be across that. Oh, it was Christina Hopner from New Zealand. Thank you very much. We all know that Flash is now pretty much gone. PDF's an interesting one. Now, Vision Australia here, we have a really main body here in Australia, which is putting together what's called the National Transition Strategy. In other words, how are we going to bring in accessibility, not only to government, but also to commercial companies. At the moment, PDFs are not fully compliant. However, Vision Australia is recommending that they will be made so. Bootstrap has some interesting quirks, which will come up again later. For example, the little icons in Bootstrap that you can use against your headers and titles. They're okay, but they can only be used as something that's decorative. So you just got to watch that one. I've also put a link on there for you, the new Bootstrap accessibility plugin that is available, which will really help if you are using Bootstrap. Now, if you're on an e-reader, there's also some guidelines. People are saying, and when I say people, I'm talking about people on the National Transition Strategy Board, are saying that EPUBs will probably in 4 years' time take over from the PDF space, but it's not yet mature enough at the moment. Now, as I said, Mahara will meet the AA standards, so once again, contact Christina. As far as we go for PDFs at work here, I better own up here and say that I actually work with Michelle, who's on this list, as well as Nick. We use Adobe. Now, Adobe XI Pro for students is only $89. It will convert your PowerPoints, Word, Excels, etc. straight into an accessible PDF. It puts a bar at the top of your Office program, and it is simply one click. And it will tell you if there's anything that's really bad, and you can fix it up. So that is a handy little trick to get away from, well, the terrible Word documents that at the moment just are not compliant at all. One of the things you'll take out of that is headings, headings, headings. Images. 2 images in front of you. How does a screen reader know which one is which? It will read that, the chess piece, the pawn, as being pawn. It will read out the XXX rated, of which I didn't put the picture there, guys, sorry, as being pawn. Therefore, we use the alt tags and the title tags. When you're inserting an image into your course, please put in the alt tags. A lot of people get confused between the alt and the title tags. The title tags is what you see if you hover over it. If you put an alt tag in, you really need to think about how is this screen reader going to read it. Sound it out loud. Now, by that I mean, on the next slide, you'll see a picture of some students. Can you guys please type in what you think that alt tag should be? And Gareth's just telling us in LibreOffice, the export PDF option says you can create a tagged PDF, which says it's accessible as well. Thanks for that. Okay, we're getting a few things coming in here. Image of 4 students reading, says Teresa. Using technology, says Catherine. Michael Durat, students viewing a tablet. Michael's the closest. The worst thing we could do would actually be to put in students. But the main question you've got to ask when you're doing an alt tag is, does this alt tag give us any more information than what you're writing about? If it's not giving any more information, all you have to write in is 2 words, decorative image. If you put in students, that wouldn't be great. If you put students in a park, 4 students in a park gathered around and looking at an iPad, perfect, because that's how the screen reader is going to read it out. Just students or students reading a mobile device, where are they? Does where they are at the moment, does it have any context? Does it add value to what you're trying to do? If not, 2 words, decorative image. The best title tag to go over the top, so what we'd like to see when we're hovering, again, it depends on what this page might be about. It could be about the rollout of the new iPads. It could be for students, trialing the new iPad, part of our trial team. When we use images as buttons, again, you can type in, which one do you think is the correct button to use? Here. Is there a correct button to use? First one's quite small. It is an image with text written on it. Second one is larger with text written on it. And the third one has been created using CSS. Now, Michelle's saying none of the above. Okay, pros and cons. The first one, you'd have to check color contrast. It would be fairly quick to download. The second one would take a little longer to download. However, and this is a crucial however, it's at 18-point font. 18-point font is the minimum you should be putting somewhere. But even if you're now doing images as buttons, you're supposed to write underneath the button as well what the button is about. So in other words, you should still have the word generate sitting here, which does seem double redundant. Michael's asking, is the text in the second part of the image? In this example, it is. Here, this one, it's been done a little bit differently. It's actually not an image, it's actually text. It's very naughty to actually have text on an image now. However, you can do it this way, but it looks god-awful boring. But luckily, we have now got new classes in Moodle. Now, if you're a teacher and you're not used to playing around with the code, at least this is simple code to start with. You can just copy and paste this in the editor, go into the code section. Top one gives you the default, the second is the primary, the third is the success, and so on. So they don't have to be gosh awful. And remembering that this is all being done behind the scenes with classes. So although it looks like an image, a screen reader will not read it as an image. Yes, they're Bootstrap 2.3.2 buttons, Gareth. And Gareth's also posted it up there. I've also got a link on course number 21 to the demo course. Now, the demo course is a Pukunui course, and it has all the Bootstrap things, including these images and buttons and how to do them. So today is more about giving you an overview so you can go off and research rather than getting into the really nitty-gritty and stuff, as you can see. What about if I want to do actually, one last slide. There it is on the iMoot page. They've actually used one of those new Bootstrap buttons that a screen reader can read nicely. Hyperlinks. there is a right way and a wrong way to do hyperlinks. Take a look at these ones here. Take a look at these download areas here. This is actually recommended by Vision Australia to help people. Amongst their guidelines are, do not put the name of the site, it's redundant. A screen reader is going to read it out anyway. You can actually just put current news. Do not use capital letters, please. And no redundant words like click this link for pukunui.com. Just put Pukunui. Don't need the .com there, or Pukunui site. Insurance to 50 to 55-year-olds. A screen reader would actually have issues with that. Put the word to in the middle of your hyperlinks. And just remembering, if you are following their guidelines, to put an alt tag on these little picture links. And we're covering so much today. I know it's sad, but at least you can be able to rewind on this and come back to it. Okay, videos. Begin with a script in mind. It's a bit of a play off Kobe, isn't it? Begin with the end in mind. It is much quicker to write your script before you video and make your video much quicker. You can do it on the fly, and you can use some programs to spit out your script, some with more success than others, but you need to have a think about captions. And are you going to be doing what's called open captions or closed captions? Open captions are where the words, the subtitles for your movie are burnt onto the screen. Closed captions are where you can turn them on or off, a bit like on YouTube, where you can actually turn the captions on or off if you want them. When we do captioning here at the Bureau, we're using either YouTube captions, or we found a great little piece of software called Movie Captioner. Movie Captioner is less than $100. Ask for an educational discount. The link, again, is on the course. They give you a manual, but honestly, he does like a 4-minute intro to Movie Captioner on YouTube, and it is so brilliant. You'll be up and running in no time with it. Are there any free-ish tools that can add captions to videos? Well, yes, YouTube. YouTube will have a go at it itself to try to work out what your words are and what the caption should be, which can be hilarious at times. So yeah, you might have a bit more there. With Movie Captioner, yes, you're paying less than $100, but at least you're typing it in yourself, but you've got control and you can export it in so many formats. It's really brilliant. Another thing with accessibility, remember those little 9 icons at the beginning? I really think there should be another one which is cross-platforms. It's sort of like an IT version of the accessibility icons. We're using MP4s because they will play on everything. I have an awful lot of people working in Linux in our organization, so they can't watch an awful lot of the other sort of formats. They don't have the codecs available. MP4 works once, works for everybody. Handbrake is our choice. So if we've got a file and it's an AVI and we need to get it to MP4, we use mostly Handbrake. Okay, open source, again, Handbrake works on multi-platform, so everyone can use it. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you use for your captioning? There we go. And Gareth is saying he uses VLC. I've actually got VLC as well. I use that one at home too. What do you use for your captioning? And what do you use for your converting of files? Does that mean that a lot of you don't have anything at the moment? Okay, Michael's saying he uses Handbrake as well for conversions. Teresa doesn't really convert files. Does that mean, Teresa, that you're actually recording in one particular format and you always stay in that format? Or captions? New Zealand says we don't have to caption. Okay. I can't comment on what your rules are over there. ABC from Dorothy. Welcome, Dorothy. And we've got a few more coming through as well. Michael, I've never done captions. Okay, Michael, if you've never done captions, decide first of all if you want to do open captions or closed captions. So in other words, do you want to turn them on or off? And then decide, have a go actually at both before you decide. I'd have a go at the YouTube captioning and have a go at Movie Captioner. The guy who runs Movie Captioner, he works on his own. It's his own business out of the US. And yet he's got some amazing clients, and yeah, he's just really good as far as support goes. He's always on his emails. Let's get off videos. Videos were an entire bunny hole on their own, so please have a play. As I said, all the links are on course number 21. Theming. 3 questions. Can you guys please tell me, do you actually have an accessible theme option? It was really great when Julian bought out his theme and it actually had a choice of changing the theme to be an accessible theme, which means theoretically, from what we can see at the moment, and don't sue me on this one, but by having the drop down and saying, do you want standard colors or do you want the accessible theme, at least that takes care of your headers and footers. Yes, your content still has to be accessible, but you can then at least have this in really crisp, clear, fully compliant mode. So does anybody out there actually have an accessible theme option or even have an accessibility policy or even a page for your users? Stuart does all of his captions in YouTubes and tries to develop to WCAG too. Okay, well, for those of you who may be course creators or presenters within your organizations, have a chat to your Moodle admin and ask them. There is a way that they can even create a link to have on your site which will change the theme. They just need to change a setting and that enables different themes. Okay, Stuart's sending through a link through to his Moodle Bytes. Okay, if we wanted to have a look at who really does this the best, go and have a look at bbc.co.uk. Bring it up now. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and in their footer, in the grey part, no, actually, down in the very bottom part, it's called Accessibility Help. Bottom right-hand corner, they have what I think is the best series of accessibility pages to help their people. They really do lead on this. Another one which you can go to, which is a Moodle site. I've got the link on the resources page. Have a look at the UK Met Office's Moodle site. Just bring it up now. And I'll post the link in for you. Have a look at this one. So this is an example of an accessible theme as far as they have at least tried to look at. Gareth, close to him. Okay, the Met Office. They've done all of their colours. Even my purple on the main slide here, the purple one with the sand, the buckets and spades, etc., that also has been put through that color contrast analyzer. The best tool for just checking. Okay, so has everybody had a look at both the BBC web page that I put through and the Met service? Here's the link if you didn't have a quick look. Okay, I know we're getting a little bit short on time here. Designing, please design early for your accessibility. Build it in as a part of your project at the beginning. It costs a fortune to retrofit. And it's so easy to do if you think about colors, if you think about design, if you think about being able to use the keyboard to get around your menus in the beginning. Okay? Cannot stress that enough. The YouTube clips will also help you. There's quite a few on designing for accessibility. And test. This is an example of a company, and they build websites. Okay, you may not be building your Moodle website, but you can see they're testing on 1,000,001 devices. I've given you a link for 10 different free screen readers. There's no excuse if you're an admin and if you're setting up a new theme or a new template that your courses are going to run with, that you don't test on a screen reader. Costs nothing. Yes, if you're going to get a real one like JAWS, etc., these other ones too are real. They may be free, but they work. So test, test, test. And stop the presses. We're almost finished. Atto, the new editor in Moodle for Moodle 2.7. You'll see we've got 2 new icons here, which will give you a quick report on your content. So if you don't get involved with making themes, etc., you're still responsible for having some of all of your content to be accessible. This is going to be a great tool. I got quite a shock when I put a heap of our content through it. So it's going to give us a bit of a to-do list. Okay, competition 1. Get ready to type into the chat window. I want the address, the web address, not of your home site, but the first one to type in their Moodle web address to get to their Moodle index page, please. We'll win one of the iMoot. Teresa's in first. Well done, Teresa. Gareth, Dorothy, Cheryl. Brilliant. Touch typist. I tried to word it really slowly so you didn't know what I was going to do. Well, congratulations, Teresa. You've won yourself a Moodle coffee mug, a Moodle Rockstar coffee mug, and the extra large one, just in case you need more coffee than the average person. This is a thank you slide. Now, everyone who's been here today is going to get an accessibility badge. However, where I'd like you to go to quickly is over to course number 21, because there's a second competition running. On this one, if you slide down to the activity, you can win an iMoot gym bag. You have to put in your name, your to-do list from today. I've shown you a heap of resources, plus on that web page, there are so many more tools that you can look at. There's also a link to an amazing movie called The Crash Reel. Whether you're into snowboarding or not, this is a story of an Olympian who had to make his way back. It is brilliantly inspiring as far as accessibility goes. Family movie, okay to watch. Just incredible. Anyway, if you scroll down, I'd like you all to put in, there's a database activity, to put in not only your name, but your to-do list from today, the things you've got to follow up from what we spoke about today. And then, should you wish to do so, take a screen capture of your site and maybe put on there some things you need to check. I'm just going to share my screen for a minute. bring up the course, and if you have a look on, if you click on the database activity, you'll see that I've already put in one entry, just sort of as a sample entry for you all to look at. So here, test student, my to-do list, I need to download the color contrast analyzer. I need to talk to my manager about having an introduction. It could be you need a policy. It could be you don't even know what your company's policy is on accessibility. All government sites have to be compliant Australian government sites have to be compliant by November this year. And then there's a transition to bring it into the corporate world. For those of you who might be in Melbourne tonight, as it's Global Accessibility Awareness Day, please check out up at the State Library tonight between 6 till 8:30 p.m. Girl Geek Dinners is having an event. And also Be Responsive Melbourne. They had one yesterday. It was amazing. So it's everyone who's getting together to make design, responsive design, more accessible. Oh, tea for Teresa. Teresa doesn't drink coffee. There we go. Okay. Now, did everybody find where the database activity in the other competition is? The winner will be decided and will be announced on Sunday. Not too hard to do. You've got a little bit of a break before the next session. Does anyone have any questions at this point? No? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unmute everybody so that you can actually talk if you wish to, or type as some of you will. And Gareth's just given us an extra link through to Good Colour Blind Tool. I will add that onto my... Okay, we're getting some feedback here. I'll mute you all. I'll have to do it through this. I'll add it to the site, Gareth, because there's already quite a long list of great resources there. And if that's all, then we'll wind it up. No questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you very
Merrin.
much, Merrin.
Yeah.
Sorry. Little off sort of piece question, but with the grid format for Moodle that I developed, I've had a lot of people asking me about accessibility and saying, can you make it more accessible? And last October, November, I did an extra bits and bobs and I tried to make it more accessible in colours and being able to have keyboard control. And I got so far and I released it and blah. A few people says, yeah, really, really good. A lot of people then says, yeah, blah, blah. A lot of people then started complaining, saying, well, it's not really accessible, doesn't work with JAWS. And I tried to get answers and information out of them, and another university complained, but nobody seemed to be providing me with information. So almost, and I said I'd do it for free and I would improve it. And really, if you get out there, if you have people using the format, what I really need to tell them is, if it's not accessible, can they tell me what they'd like to actually make to change it? to make it accessible.
Okay, have you put it through any of those free screen readers?
No, good point. Very good point. I've installed a screen reader called NDA already,
Mm-hmm.
which I've used at the start when I started developing my shoehorn thing, and stuff. And I've done stuff on Hover Over and bits and bobs. But people said, it doesn't work with Jaws, it doesn't work with blah 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 blah. And yeah, I'll try that. But if you have
That would
in
be
your
my first
community
thing,
and
is to...
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Michael. Screen readers are not always consistent. That's so true. I would also get in touch with your version. It's probably Royal Society for the Blind, etc. Certainly our one here in Australia, Vision Australia, they will help you to the nth degree. They will go through whatever you've got, and they will consult, and they will just tell you. And it's non-for-profit. They're just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's more sort of from developing. When I did find our site, and I found, that's how I found out actually NDA from their link was very good. They seemed very helpful. I was just saying to everybody, really, if they do use a good format, and they're using it and stuff, please actually email me, tell me, this colour's awful, this font needs to be bigger, and I'll just change it.
Oh, exactly. But if you don't know what to change, it's jolly difficult.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the stumbling blocks I've had in the past and actually still continue to do. So, I mean, I'd say to everybody, I can have feedback and I'll improve it.
I could get in touch with them, with your Royal Society for the Blind, because I know certainly here in Australia, Vision Australia, they have their own teams of geeks who literally do this all the time. They've got, I put a lot of links to a lot of their tools for testing in different browsers, but it's like that screenshot I put up before of all those different mobile devices for testing. It's best if you test on an absolute range of them.
Right. So there isn't. Right.
Well, check meetups in your area as well, because, for example, the one I've got there, the Geek Girls and Be Responsive, they also have people within that will look at your code.
Right. Yeah, useful. Yeah, because it's all about feedback and understanding, and I think it's a shame, but I think it's good that all the movement these days is going forward to getting consistent, to having good, free, available tools for people who are not much budget, whatever, to help with accessibility and to make it almost second nature. Whereas I found in the past, it was something you just overlooked, and you said retrofitting is a pain in the...
It's too time consuming. It really is.
I mean,
yes, a lot of the time you're better to start from scratch.
What do you think of ARIA? ARIA, the roles and stuff. Those standards?
ARIA. Don't know it. Need more information.
I'll just find the link.
As I put at the beginning of this, I'm not the absolute guru on this. I've just been through a heaps. Is the standard that drives screen readers from HTML. Oh, did you see Michael's note there? Can you actually see Michael's as well? Doodle has support combinations for screen readers, and he's given the link to it. WebAIM. If you actually type in screen reader HTML standards, there are so many different standards out there. It's just crazy. I'm actually quite shocked at all of it. Thank you, Dorothy. A nice site for accessibility from legal aid.
I still haven't found the one I've been looking for. We did a lot of work for accessibility for people with mental disorders, because that's an area that's not as well, not as much work has been done around compared to vision impairment or auditory problems. And
that
there's
would be amazing to learn more
yeah,
about.
and there's a brilliant site where you can actually change all the information. It's about going to court, and you can choose to have it in very simple English and also a simple page design, dependent on different mental problems that might make reading complex documents, which of course legal is. And it's just so impressive, and I just can't find it. So when I find it, I'll put it in your forum area, perhaps.
Oh, please, yes. Or else just email it to merrin@mail.com, MERRIN @mail.com.
Okay, great. Now I'll mute myself again so I can make thinking noises.
Gareth, I'm happy to say that, there's some things I'm not really across, where there's other stuff which I am very much across, and I've got to say I can't say that I'm a specialist in that area of actually the standards for the screen readers.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just curious to see what you thought about it and things.
I can certainly put you in touch with a gentleman who would be able to answer an awful lot of your questions. He is here in Australia, and he might even have a local contact for you.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry. I was curious what you thought about it.
Okay, the national manager for all of the digital access tools can be gotten on this address, and he is lovely and kind and will really take as much time as you need. He's just brilliant.
Oh,
Busy man, but very helpful. Well, it's often, don't you find, it's the ones who are really busy who actually do go out of their ways to help?
Yeah. Because I think they're on a roll. Hey, Merrin, thank you very much. Really informative presentation. I got a lot out from that, and a lot of food for thought and some really good ideas. Thank you.
Oh, hopefully you've got a to-do list. Thank you so much for coming along. Bye.
Thanks for your time, Merrin.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks again.
You are currently